I don't think. Look, when you're, of course, everybody knows China's important for Europe. Germany sent successive delegations to China. Um, and again, to show you the stupidity of this whole European concept and their subordination to the United States, we have told Europe that you have to break away from your dependence upon the Chinese, supply chain and things of that nature. We and the Chinese went, so you're sanctioning us, you're breaking from us, you're breaking with it. No, and I forget the term. We're de-risking instead of delinking. We're de-risking. What that means is reducing the risks that are entailed by too much dependence upon Chinese, economic change. But Schultz went over there with the head of, I think, VW and maybe some other German automobile makers, and Schultz and his people, Baerbock and others are like, we're going to de-risk, and the Chinese are like, all right, if you insist. I mean, okay, if you want to. And VW turns around and goes, boss, what the hell are you talking about de-risking? Well, we want to strengthen opportunities. He said, you understand that VW as an entity is losing money everywhere in the world. We don't make money anywhere in the world because of your stupid policies, because of the lunacy of what you've done with energy prices, etc. The only place that we make money is China. That's it. And now you want to de-risk? You want me to pull out? If I pull out, VW collapses. And if VW collapses, Germany collapses. And Olaf Scholz went, oh, I guess we can't de-risk. This is the reality. The Europeans need China. They can't function without China because the economic interaction with China is oftentimes the only profitable economic activity taking place in Europe. It's not profitable with America. America, your friend, is gouging you with high gas prices. We don't care. We claim to care, but we don't care. Our guys are making money hand over fist. The stakeholders, the shareholders are like, hey, great, we're making lots of money. Nobody cares about Europe. Again, I come back to America's a friend of nobody. America's a friend only to itself. And even then, we're not necessarily, friendly to ourselves because if you're Republican, you hate a Democrat, Democrat, you hate a Republican, et cetera. But this is, of course, we're oversimplifying this problem, but I'm talking about trends. The trend is Europe can't live without China. China can definitely live without Europe. And that's why people have to understand the importance of what's happening with BRICS. If BRICS ever solidifies as a G7 equivalent in the global South, what you have is a self-sustaining economic universe that Europe and America don't play a part of. And therefore we become irrelevant. And then we get to trade with one another, but not, there's so much economic potential in the Eurasian landmass. If India and China and Russia ever fully start cooperating, that right there is game, set, match. And if BRICS happens in Kazan, the big three will be sitting at the same table. Vladimir Putin, Modi, Xi Jinping. Boom! They own the world. They're the controllers. There's the masters of the universe. Well, they're not the master of America. America doesn't matter anymore. America doesn't matter. We've made ourselves irrelevant. We can't afford. We just sent, all these aircraft carriers and ships off to the Persian Gulf to, influence the region. We can't afford that, by the way. It wasn't budgeted. So we have to steal money from the rest of the military to pay for that. That's all right. That's what we'll do. But meanwhile, we're decommissioning 17 ships in the Navy because we can't find sailors to man them. Nobody's joining. Nobody's joining the Army. We already had to shrink the Army. Marine Corps is doing okay because, the few, the proud, and the propaganda machine works and people go to the Marine Corps. But, the Air Force is shrinking. Everything's shrinking. Why? Nobody wants to be part of this military machine anymore. People are looking around the world saying, no, it's forever war overseas doing other people's business. We want to be home making money, living the good life, living the dream. And that's the reality, is that we are positioning ourselves for, potential conflict around the world, but we're going to need others to be our proxies. Australia. The Australians are really the dumbest people on the planet. Why would you enter into a relationship with the United States that allowed your nation to be turned into an American aircraft carrier, which all that means is that China's going to sink you with nuclear weapons if there's ever a war. Why would you do that? Allow the United States, we now have 2,400 Marines there. We're talking about permanently stationed 16,000 Marines. We're talking about bringing in brigades of U.S. Army to do what? A resumption of the island campaign of World War II to drive the Chinese out of the South Pacific, out of the South China Sea. Why would the Philippines embark on this operation with America? Because let me tell you what happens when a push comes to shove. America will not be there for you. We're going to get you into a bind, whether your name is Australia or the Philippines, and then we're going to run. We're going to fall back, and you're going to be left holding the bag, paying the price. Checks on the table, we're gone with our credit card, and you got to pay the price. This is what's going to happen. Instead of relying upon diplomacy and talking and working things out in an equitable fashion, the United States only knows one thing: military intervention, military intervention. We only have one tool: weapons. So we flood weapons to Australia, we flood weapons to Philippines, and then it leads to a conflict that we can't sustain. There's all this talk about Taiwan. Let's just be clear. The United States cannot fight a war in Taiwan. Cannot do it. There, said it. Which means that if we are going to engage with the Chinese decisively over Taiwan, we either accept the inevitability of a humiliating defeat or we go nuclear. And now there will probably some that I don't know if you're going to bring it up, but you see, we've provoked the Chinese because what we've said is if it goes nuclear, of course, we got 1,400 some odd nuclear weapons deployed. We're ready to use them at any time. We have range of options. Our nuclear employment plan gives us the ability to go low, high, heavy. We could even preempt China right now and take out their 400 nukes, and that's not a problem. The Chinese went, oh yeah, you're right. So we're going to build 360 missile silos. And we're not going to put all of the DF-41s in there, but let's say we put 100 in there. So you don't know which ones they're in. They're all over China, but each DF-41 is going to have 10 nuclear warheads capable of delivered 10,000 miles to anywhere in the United States. We build 100 of these missiles. That's 1,000 warheads, dingbat. Now you want to play nuclear war with us? You want to do that, America? And Biden just woke up, signed a new nuclear employment plan that has to factor this in, which doesn't make the world safer. It makes the world more dangerous. Where's arms control of all this? Nobody's talking about arms control. So we are in an arms race with China right now. The last nuclear treaty with Russia expires in February 26, and then we will enter into a new arms race there. Ladies and gentlemen, save up your money and go on vacation this summer. Maybe you might get one in next summer, but that's it. Then you're going to die. That's the direction we're headed. This is the reality. A nuclear arms race in a world where the American empire is not the force of stability, but rather the force of instability, that as we collapse, we create more and more crises because we are the military-industrial complex. The only way our economy continues to thrive is by making sure defense industry kept being fed contract after contract, but those contracts require conflict. And so we promote conflict, contract, money, nuclear war, we all die. That's where we're headed right now.
New York Times reported that Jake Sullivan going to be in China trying to convince. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
New York Times reported that Jake Sullivan going to be in China trying to convince Chinese again not to help Russia. And do you think that he's going to put a new kind of pressure on Chinese? I don't know what he's going to do, but so far we haven't seen that China going to agree with the United States on putting pressure on not helping Russia. Why is he thinking that this time he's able to change the mind of Chinese?
Well, let's just think about this logically. It's September, or it's almost September. The election will be in November. A new president will be sworn in January. No matter who wins the election, Jake Sullivan's out of government. Do you think the Chinese give a rat's ass about anything Jake Sullivan's about to say? You think the Chinese are going, ooh, let's lean in hard here. Jake Sullivan's coming. I mean, my God, we're going to have to deal with this guy for another 4 years. No, he's done. literally the definition of a lame duck. I think right now he has to go through the motions because the world is expecting this. The United States has to be seen as doing something, promoting something. But China's not going to, change its policies. What does the United States have to offer China? China is with BRICS. That's the direction, multipolarity. I mean, is the United States going to say, hey, if you dump Russia, we'll join BRICS? No. Hey, if you dump Russia, we'll dissolve the G7. Oh, hey, if you dump BRICS or dump Russia, we'll give up on Taiwan. China might listen to that one, but Sullivan's not going to put that on the table. This is stupidity. What is Jake Sullivan going to bring to the table? Not a damn thing. Let's go back to the start of the Biden administration, a meeting that took place between Sullivan, Blinken, and their Chinese counterparts, where the United States started off by trying to lecture the Chinese, and they were shut down immediately. And the Chinese said, "This ain't your daddy's China-U.S. relationship. This is a new one. We are not inferior to you. In many ways, we are superior to you, and we will never again be lectured by you about anything." And that's the reality. So, what's Jake Sullivan going to do? Go over there with what? First of all, he's the national security advisor. Okay. He's not a policy maker. He's a policy implementer. So normally if the national security advisor is going to take the lead, that means that there's been an interagency decision. But there's never an interagency decision made in a news vacuum, because everybody wants to pick up the phone and, be the person that was responsible for the headline story. So this is an act of desperation. This is a literal act of desperation by Jake Sullivan. It's going to go nowhere.
Yeah. Just to wrap up this session, Scott, when we talk about BRICS, right now we know Azerbaijan and Palestine are asking to be part of BRICS. And how BRICS can help Palestine, in your opinion? If Azerbaijan finally gets into this organization, and how BRICS can put pressure on Azerbaijan. We know that Azerbaijan is so important in providing oil to Israel. And is that possible that through Azerbaijan, BRICS just put some sort of pressure on Israel? Is that possible? Or
well, I think you missed the whole purpose of BRICS, because what you're describing is what the United States does and its allies. And BRICS has said that's not us. We're a consensus organization. We don't put pressure on anybody. We come up with a decision that people buy into. We have discussions. But what BRICS is going to now sanction Azerbaijan? Hey, join our organization so we can sanction you. No, that's not how it works. What happens is Azerbaijan comes in and people say, hey, Gaza's a problem. Everybody goes, yep, Gaza's a problem. We need to come up with a solution. Yep. How do we work together to get this solution done? And then they work out that. But we really need to stop thinking like America thinks. BRICS will not be a sanctioning body. They're not going to sanction. BRICS will be a body that promises growth, not war, and promises cohesion and unity, not separation and isolation. What can Palestine expect from this? One, if they're part of BRICS in one way or another, the economic potential of BRICS to help rebuild Palestine. I think that's a very big thing. And that's where China comes into play. That's where all of the BRICS nations comes into play. But the idea that that Azerbaijan's being lured into BRICS so that Russia and China can put pressure on it, that's American thinking. That's not how BRICS operates. BRICS is a consensus-driven organization that will not, it's just not going to, that's how America defeated itself. I mean, my God, if we hadn't sanctioned the world, we'd still be the most influential economic power in the world today, where people actually look to us and say, oh, a relationship with America is economically beneficial. Now people are fearful. We have an economic relation with America, but we don't have independent foreign policy anymore, because if we ever do something we think is good for us, America will sanction us. And so therefore, it's not good to be closely tied to America. It's not good to be dependent upon the dollar. This is why there's a drive for de-dollarization, alternative forms of international payment. The United States has destroyed itself through this tool of sanctioning. Why would BRICS ever follow that pattern of behavior?